All right. Okay, says we're live. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. And when you see Fran, you already know that it is Friday. I have with me Peachy Williams, but before I give you her wonderful introduction, you guys already know that I love my little video. So we're going to get in some high energy over here.
Let's go. Let's get it. 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 Let's go.
Oh boy, I always get a kick off of that because I honestly don't think that that's me. So, for everyone that's just watching, I am being joined by my NASDAQ sister. I believe she's also my Cornell sister, Peachy Williams, which I have to read Peachy's bio because it's so extensive and my mind doesn't always cooperate with me as far as trying to remember things. So, I'm going to read her bio and then we'll get right into the conversation. Peachy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So, Peachy Williams, aka the brand voice builder, is a seasoned copywriter, creative and innovative brand strategist, as you can see from the sign behind her. With over 25 years of industry experience, she excels in crafting compelling messages and creative strategies that drive results. And we've all had the opportunity to experience some that don't. So she is the owner of Freshman Fun Box, which is copywritten brand, and the Right Mix and Color Me brand, also copywritten collective. She empowers businesses of all sizes to build, brand, and grow. And today we are talking about her journey of healing as an entrepreneur. So, Peachy, wherever you want to start, girl, please, you have the floor.
Well, thank you so much. Um, I want to start by saying being an entrepreneur is hard. I think sometimes people misconstrue what that really means because it sounds so sexy. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh, I own my own business. And people say, "Oh, you own your own business," um, and that has so many different meanings and connotations to it. Um, One of the things people don't realize becoming an entrepreneur is there are valleys, there are ups and downs that you go through as an entrepreneur, and it can be not only is it tedious, but it can be traumatic in a lot of instances because when you are, at certain points and you have staff that you have to pay and something happens or a check doesn't come in and then you're trying to figure out how you're going to make payroll because you didn't take the time to have the savings, the cushion, or you know um I know a lot of people were going through a lot of things, especially when COVID hit, when a lot of businesses had to shut down and stuff like that. It can
Mhm.
be very traumatic. But I want to go back to even before you became an entrepreneur and how your life could have possibly impacted the way that you do business. Sometimes, Erica Badu talks about the bag lady, and she talks about relationships in terms of those bags, but we have those bags everywhere, especially if you're starting a business. I tell people all the time, do SWOT analysis, do it on yourself because those strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats can actually impact how you do business, how you see yourself in the business world. Some people are very against going live or speaking in front of large crowds, and a lot of times that's part of traumas that they have that make them feel like they can't do it. Sometimes because of some people may have gone through abuse and they start these businesses, and it makes them uneasy when they have to confront a customer. Customers confront them, or they feel like they're being cheated, or they're not able to negotiate good contracts, contractual rates, because they don't want to ask, or they don't want to seem like they're being overbearing or overpowering or confrontational, and some of those comes from being abused.
Yo, Peachy, that is like freaking A. Talk about that. Can you talk about an instance where Well, you're already talking about it, but can you talk about an instance where you've seen that come into play? Because yes, totally, I could see where that, even just in regular relationships.
Hmm. Yeah. So, a lot of times when what I can say, and I can be transparent, I grew up in an abusive household. And so, for a long time, I was afraid to speak up, you know, um, and if you are into crystals and chakras, my throat chakra was messed up, to a certain extent. Um, and so I worked in PR for a long, long time in the face of my brand or whatever. And I was comfortable working in PR because I was in the background pushing other people and making them great, you know? And so it's a totally different world, but you know, the fear that I used to have, years ago, I used to be scared to actually speak in front of people or, talk in front of large crowds or, a customer wanted this. And, at some point I had to, say, no, this is what it is. This is my price. A lot of times people don't think about those things and how those traumas you carry with you carry over into the business world. And so, I went through therapy. I dedicated an entire year of therapy to myself, and the things that I uncovered um, in therapy, I realized some of those were affecting the way that I did business. Um, just the perceptions that I had in terms of business. And ironically, I could see it in other business owners and other entrepreneurs. And a lot of times we have those looks or those unwritten sayings, but you understand when people say certain things and they have certain nuances, you know exactly what's going on if you've been through it, almost like a unspoken bond that you have with somebody because you guys have experienced some of the same traumas, right?
Absolutely.
So I really encourage people who are thinking of starting a business or who have businesses to really dig deep. And it can be very painful, but the healing is so worth it because then you begin to show up for yourself. And a lot of times when you're going through those traumas or you have those traumas and you're not healed in those areas, you're not showing up for yourself, you're showing up for everybody else. You But if you're going to run your business successfully, you have to heal so that you can show up for you, show up for your business, you know, because
Peachy,
your business is an extension of you.
yeah.
Yeah.
What did that year look like for you? Like, how did you notice that was there something that was triggering that created the inception of your journey? Like, what did that look like for you?
Well, I wish I had done therapy way before than I did, but I'm thankful that I did it. My mom passed away, and once my mom passed away, it's almost like because we had a tumultuous relationship, but once my mom passed away, it's almost like I gave myself permission to go ahead and heal, and so it wasn't just my mom. In therapy, so many other things came out. I was a widow, a very young widow. I was still having trauma from that. And I didn't even realize that. And that's been over 30 years. So all those things I gave myself from January to December and all those things, came out. A lot of things that you go through in life, you don't realize how many things you just put to the side because you have to be there for your kids or you have to, make sure this is taken care of or that's taken care of. But it's not until you really start that healing journey that you realize it's okay to put me first. And I think all my life I had not done that. So happily now I put myself first, and that starts with saying no. That starts with not allowing people to disrespect you in your business, not allowing people to take advantage of you in your business. Sometimes people notice your skill set and they'll try and get close to you so that you can do their stuff for them, but then they don't show up for you. You
Right.
know, It's no equal give and take. And because
Right.
of the fact that you have your own traumas, you're not even looking at the red flags. Because me, from a child, I've been a giver. That's just who I am. I'm a giver. I pour into people. But what happens when your cup is empty because you've poured it all out and
Mhm.
nobody's pouring into you? And
Mhm.
so, that kind of helped me, especially in my entrepreneurial journey, to gain more confidence in what I was doing and believing in me. Like, people can believe in you, but if you don't really think that you're the best at what you do, it's not going to even matter what people say, because, hey, so it gave me permission to put myself first and really embrace my greatness.
Mhm.
And I'm so grateful for that.
It's beautiful. Wow. What a beautiful journey. So like with your mom passing away and then you experiencing that, I guess that widowhood from 30 years ago, having to unpack that, like that showed up too in business, like the hurt and the pain from those experiences.
Yeah, I shied away from certain things. I used to be afraid to go live. It took a long time, because I was so used to doing for others.
Mm,
Um, and even in sometimes trying to um, get in the groups that can actually steer you in the right direction, sometimes you feel like, oh, well, should I go apply for this grant? Am I going to be able to get it? Am I qualified for it? You start second guessing yourself when you really shouldn't. When you know
mm,
that you have all the qualifications, you've done all these things, but you still second guess yourself, because again, that's just something that's an area where maybe you need a little bit more work, because you haven't fully healed. You haven't fully healed enough to say, yes, I'm going to do this. It doesn't matter if they say yes or no, I'm going to do it.
mm,
So, and I see that again in a lot of entrepreneurs or people starting businesses. They feel like they are at a loss. um, they feel so confused because they feel like they can't get the information they need, or they're afraid to take the next step. Sometimes people say, oh, I'm starting this business, and then they just never move on it. That's a trauma that they're afraid to move forward in doing it. um, and I think sometimes they don't even realize it. And that's why I push the SWOT analysis on yourself so much, because, there are so many threats and we're hurting ourselves. A weakness is something that can be worked on so that it
mm,
can become a strength.
mm.
A threat, if you don't know what the threat is, then you can't turn that into an opportunity. Those types of things. And again, when you have those threats and you aren't healed enough to recognize them, to improve on them, that's where things go awry.
For your, like when you began doing your healing process, what was some of the wins for you that you saw? Oh, hey, I struggled here, but now I'm here. And then also too about the SWOT analysis for those that are watching may not be in business. Could you also explain what that is to them?
Okay, so I'll start with the SWOT and then I'll circle
Okay.
back. Okay,
Okay.
so the SWOT analysis is just on a piece of paper, just write your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And a lot of times they teach you this when you're talking about business or in business school, but I highly encourage you to think about the things that your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats, not just if you're trying to start a business, but just in your life, period.
Mm,
Parents can do it to see how to better communicate with their kids.
mm, love
Kids, yeah, kids can do it to see how better to communicate with their friends. A SWOT analysis is not just for business. People just use it in business, but I have found it effective in so many different areas, because if you don't know what you're strong at, if you don't know what you're really good at, how can you excel? you know if you don't know what you're weak at, how will you know how to fix it? So, you know
that.
and
I'd
so.
also love to, if we could do like a little, I guess a small one for people,
Mhm.
if you feel okay with that, just
Sure,
to show with
sure.
them what that looks like.
Okay, I'll write it on a piece of paper, actually. Let me.
And it's usually in a cross, right?
Yes, so you're going to take a cross. I'm going to put it on screen.
Okay. Like this, yeah.
This is a little messy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did it. Yes, yes. So you take it. So you just do a cross and strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and you just write at least five strengths, or even three. Three strengths, three weaknesses, three opportunities, and three threats. But people say, well, what would I think of as an opportunity? When I'm talking about something that I do personally, and opportunities are everywhere. If you have an opportunity to um,
Be on a podcast.
be on a podcast, right? Or if you have an opportunity, even if we're talking about you personally, if you have an opportunity to schedule time for you, that's an opportunity.
Okay, schedule time for me.
Because again, self-care is everything, and it's not just for entrepreneurs, but people in general. We don't take enough time. Well, most people, some people do, but most people don't take enough time for self-care, don't take enough time for themselves. Even if it's scheduling the activities for your kids, to give yourself 15 minutes, that's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Find opportunities, stuff like that. So let me circle back to your first question. One win that I saw. So one of the wins that I saw once I started doing therapy was um, I didn't feel as I wasn't as apprehensive to say no.
Hmm.
That was the biggest win for me across the board. Um, my ability to say no, and to say it quickly and without reservation, and not feel bad about it, has been my biggest win out of that. And it was something I was so uncomfortable with at first. But again, as you start to heal, then you start to realize when people are taking advantage of you. You start to realize when people are throwing shade, when ordinarily you'll be like, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like you're
Yeah.
second guessing it. And I saw Lewis, is it House? He does this show.
Oh,
I see
Louis Hayes.
maybe.
Louis Hayes. Yeah, yeah.
um I saw someone on the show, and they were talking about um the art of saying no.
Hmm.
But then it's this guy that's on Cruise Season. It's this show called Cruise Season.
Love that show.
Yes. And so I don't even know who the guy is, but he's the one that talks the most. And I even put this on my Facebook page. He did it was a reel, and he said, never give someone an opportunity to disrespect you twice,
Mm,
because they know what they're doing and they made the choice.
mm,
People choose to disrespect you. Never
mm,
give someone the opportunity to disrespect you twice. And
mm.
I realized, because of a lot of trauma that I had, I allowed people to show disrespect in many different forms. And so when I saw that, I was like, yes, it makes sense. So now I live by that. Never give someone the opportunity to disrespect you twice. And so had I not gained that that strength within myself, I would not be able to embrace that the way that I have.
So beautiful. And we do dishonor ourselves a lot when we don't say no to some of the things we may not be able to fulfill,
Right.
or just out of straight disrespect. I remember one time I was at a meeting and I was at the Long Beach Chamber of Commerce meeting, and I don't know if this guy is still the president of Long Beach Chamber of Commerce, but I went as a fill-in for the owner of the company, and then he's going around in the circle telling everybody, okay, what do you do? And everybody there was an entrepreneur except for me. I was a business development manager. And he goes, we need people here that are business owners that can actually make a decision, not looking at me or anything like that. But at the time, I was like, why didn't I speak up? Because now I would tell him to fuck off in his face. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So whoever's watching this, sorry, I have a sailor's mouth.
But even with sometimes just walking away
Mm-hmm.
speaks volumes. And the crazy thing about it is people know why you walked away. People know why you no longer associate with them. They know, you
Their
know.
faces in that meeting was like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that.
hmm Yes, and I feel like if someone is If someone is bold enough to want to disrespect you, that's a them problem, not a you problem. But you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to deal with that. You don't have to put that trauma on you, because that again is trauma. You don't have to put that trauma on you by having someone deflect how they're feeling onto you.
Yeah.
So, and you learn a lot of that stuff when you release and, go to therapy. Therapy works, people.
Girl, yes, yes, it does.
I never knew, but once I decided I was going to take the whole year to just focus on me and my healing, it has worked wonders for me. It really, really has.
Girlfriend, you have seems like you went through the gamut of stuff.
I did. And and granted, I'm still a work in progress. By no means am I completely healed, because healing is evolutionary. you know you're always healing, or you're always working on yourself to become a better version of yourself. And I can honestly say, maybe I didn't even really know myself before I went to therapy. uh,
Mm-hmm.
I introduced myself to the person that I should have been a long time ago, but
Mm-hmm.
because of all the things that, all the stuff, I had not fully become that person. So
How was that journey for you, introducing yourself to yourself? Like,
I
what
love
did that look like initially? Like, you're
it.
like, stranger.
Well, it became sessions that I would just, okay, so I have 50 million journals. Everybody knows me. I'm a writer, for goodness sake, but I have journals, and I would go back. I started reading journals from the past,
Girl, I
as
don't even
opposed
want to look at mine.
what I write now. And it's just it's amazing. I have a very close relationship with my Lord and Savior. And
Mm,
so just reading some of the stuff that I have written over the years, it was just so eye-opening. Um and now when I wake up in the morning, since I've released some of that stuff, I can actually feel it in my body. Um and I'm generally a happy person, but I was a happy person with a lot of baggage. And
mm,
now um I'm not that person anymore. For years I had trouble sleeping. I would stay up all night, and now I go to sleep.
mm,
So that alone shows me that I have done a lot of work, because people call me and they're like, "You're sleeping?" And they'll immediately hang up the phone, because people know I never used to go to sleep. Like,
mm.
never. Um, and so it makes me smile knowing that, people who call me and realize I'm sleeping just hang up on me, because they really appreciate the fact that I have actually made it to that point where I'm
Beautiful.
asleep. They don't want to mess it up. Oh, you're sleeping, click, and it sounds weird, but it is real. When you have people who have gone through the journey with you, and they've seen all the valleys, um, of a, personally, and then as an entrepreneur, you know, when you have real people who are really rooting for you, they are able to embrace that part of you that you have healed, and and cheer for you. They were cheering for you before, but now they're really cheering for you, because they realize who you are becoming, and how that is really positively affecting your journey in terms of entrepreneurship.
So, I am appreciative for the people that have stuck by my side too, um, because you already know when life does this.
Yeah,
Sometimes people get off the roller coaster.
they do. They do. And then sometimes you find,
You
um,
want to say it?
when you've healed, you find people who you thought were on that roller coaster with you. You find that they were just hitching a ride. you know,
That part.
they were just hitching a ride. And so being able to let go of those people is refreshing,
Mm,
because as entrepreneurs, as well as I do, everybody can't come with you.
no.
And sometimes we want really badly for the people that we thought were for us to come, but God said no.
Mm,
And let
yeah.
me show you, no, they can't go. And as you heal, you guys say no. So, you know, um, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody has their own little journey.
Yeah, it can be a tough pill to swallow, but um I'll say it's worth it. It's worth it.
Mm. So, as you've gone through your entrepreneurship journey, what has it looked like for you from the inception? I know I had asked you a few questions on what your journey was like. How'd you become a copywriter? I don't know if you wanted to share that to kind of give people an idea of, um, you know.
Well, well, I would say I've always been an entrepreneur and I just didn't know it.
Okay.
Um, I fell into copywriting, but I've done a number of things. I used to cater cakes, like because I bake really well. So I ended up getting this contract with like this restaurant in Miami. And so I was like catering 7 restaurants. So it's just really, I've just done stuff. I'll say that. Um, I am a risk taker. I'm not afraid to like get up and pack up and move. I'm not afraid to say, oh, if I get downloads, I'm a person that moves. That's how Freshman Funbox started. I had a dream. I saw it very vividly. I was like, okay, Lord, here we go. And that's how Freshman Funbox started.
That what is that? Freshman
Funbox.
fun box.
So the Freshman Funbox brand is subscription boxes for college students.
Okay.
So it's the Freshman Funbox for freshmen, the Campus Connection box for sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and then we have the HBCU box for students at HBCUs. And so items change every single month, you know. And so we send those to college students. You order it on the website and we send it to college students. But and so that's 6 years old. But that definitely came from a dream. And I think a couple of people thought I was crazy. Um,
Ooh, girl,
because
I'm
I
gonna
did
share it on the screen real quick. Y'all gonna get a little bit of freshman fun box real quick.
okay.
Hold on just a minute. I'm about to share the screen. Y'all excuse my whole all my 100 pet tabs I got open. So walk us through this, darling.
Okay. So yeah, click off of that. Okay, so that's the campus connection box. Scroll down a little bit and they can see it a little bit. Okay, yeah, you could. Okay, so that's a freshman fun box. So the freshman fun box brand is designed to support the entire 4-year journey.
Hmm.
And so, in addition to these boxes that we have, we also have books, affirmation books, and things because we're into supporting the whole student. So we have affirmation books. We have a lifestyle brand. I'm HBCU, so that they get clothes and all the swag and stuff in the boxes as well. But it's a care package for students so that they can stay connected. So we work with
Ooh.
parents, but we also work with universities. We have universities that order directly from us, and we also work with other organizations. So, foundations work with us, alumni chapters work with us, and all of that good stuff. So, came from a dream, and
Ooh.
God has done just some amazing stuff in terms of Freshman Fun Box. So,
Y'all
that's
better get y'all freshman fun box if y'all got kids in college. Like,
or the
look,
Campus
I'm
Connection
not
Box.
even in college, but I'm like, ooh, I want a box.
So that's for years 2 through 4, the Campus Connection box, because no sophomore, junior, senior wants to have a box that says Freshman Fun Box on it. Okay, um, and of course the items are different. We
Okay.
have a monthly magazine called Capstone, and that also works into helping the whole student. We have magazines on mental health, we have magazines on health and wellness, we have magazines on finance and all that other good stuff. So Freshman Fun Box is a brand, it's not just a box. So there you have it, that's my spiel.
There you have it, y'all. It is not just a box.
Right, so if you want to know more information about that, go to brandffb.com and you can see all the stuff that we do at brandffb.com.
That was so fun. I've never done that before on the show.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for the shameless plug.
Oh, girlfriend, who cares what they think? We in business. This is what we doing.
Okay, so before I started Freshman Fun Box, I'll say I always was an entrepreneur because the writing, I kind of just fell into it.
Mm.
And in grade school, I was always a very good writer. I usually finished first, and I got a lot of accolades for writing, but I never thought of it as a career
Mm-hmm.
because nobody had ever said you could actually be a writer as a career. No one ever said that to me. So I actually started school. I got an accounting accounting degree first. And then I was in school for PR, and my PR instructor was like, you need to go to law school. So no, accounting. Then I was doing computer science, and I took a PR class, and she was like, you need to make this your major because you need to go to law school. You have the. So I went into PR because I thought I was going to go to law school, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't do that. But I got a degree in communications instead, and I loved it. And so
Ooh.
I just started writing. And a girlfriend of mine, she had this big book. She used to review books for major publishers, and she had me write this book review. And I wrote a book review. It was three different book reviews on one book, and all of them were different. And she was like, "This is amazing." And it's just amazing how God works in your life, because sometimes, you know, your path is, you think you're on a detour, but it's really, you start walking in your purpose and you don't know it at the time. Um, I was being directed to my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that it was a tumultuous detour, but eventually, I got to where I was supposed to be. It was so, like, when I look at my life and just the way that, as I look back now, I can see how God had his hand on my life despite everything that I may have gone through. It was divine intervention for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started writing, and just people just started hiring me to write, So then I got a job as a writer, and I mean, it just skyrocketed from there. My writing and editing skills were really being put to the test and being put to use, and it was something that, again, it was divinely appointed for me. So
Mm-hmm.
something that I was doing for fun, because at first I wasn't getting paid, I was doing it for fun. I was writing for major magazines, just, they're not getting paid. And people were like, you should be getting paid for that, So then it became, paid stuff and paid editing and all that stuff. And so that's how I started utilizing um my degree. And so I started doing all this stuff in the literary world. And even to the point where I had a online radio show, you know.
You
Um,
still have the online radio show?
no, not for literary stuff, but I do have
Okay.
a podcast, Talk Like a Brand, totally for branding, for entrepreneurs and stuff. So Talk Like a Brand podcast.talklikeabrand.com.
Okay.
But shameless plug again.
It's
But
all
I
good.
was doing all that stuff, and I'm just the type of person that if the download comes to me, I just jump out and do it.
I
I'm one
love
of those
that.
people. I'm a doer. I take action. I get something that I feel that will be beneficial to me, or something that I feel like God is telling me, I'm
Yes.
going to do it. And so I have things that I would put in place, and they have just come to fruition maybe 5 years ago, just come
Wow.
to fruition 2 years ago, stuff that I had like 10, 15 years ago that I had just started it, but put it to the side because it wasn't time. But
Right.
I just needed to have that foundation in place. And so again, it's just so amazing how all the puzzle pieces are continuously coming together in my life. And especially since I went on my healing journey, like all that stuff, it's just clicking together like a whole puzzle. So I am just, I'm grateful for the grace that has been bestowed upon me, as I have gone through this. But everybody has a story to tell, and that's just part of mine.
I love that. Sister, what did that look like for you? As far as the journey from where you were to where you are now, and like how, I guess, how do you give back for what has been given to you?
Oh, and that's a really good question. So, um, like I said, I've always been a giver.
Hmm.
I've never been one to kind of hoard information. I
Hmm.
give information. People, so I want to do this. Some of my friends have said, "Oh, I want to do this." The next time we get on the phone, I'm like, "Oh, you need to do this, 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 and this." I'm that
Yes.
type of person. But in terms of, the entrepreneurial journey now, that's why I started Color Me Brand, because the right mix is, my agency where we do the copywriting and the creative strategy and stuff. But Color Me Brand is totally devoted to business and branding and teaching the things that um, they don't know. A
Hmm.
lot of times people don't feel safe um, speaking about ideas, and um, they feel like they don't have the money to get the information that they need.
Yeah.
They don't have $2,500 to pay for a class. You know, they don't have those things. And so I created Color Me Brand as a way to give back. Um, so I have a membership, a paid membership, but it's
Okay.
not $2,500. It's not, because I just feel like I started all my businesses bootleg. And I'll say bootleg is because I didn't know. I went on the website and I filed for my LLC and I filed for my INC, and then I just, you know, and I think when I say all the puzzle pieces, so I had that accounting background. So, I'm able to look at my stuff. One of the things that I pride myself on is that I'm able to I know how to do most of the stuff in my company. So if someone is if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, if they're trying to cheat me, I'll know it, because
Oh, okay.
I've done computers, I had
Yeah.
computer science background. I used to work for an attorney, so when it comes to legal and trademarks and stuff like that, like I understand that stuff. I understand the jargon that goes along with that. So
Got
I've
it.
been fortunate. And so I share that stuff with people because again, people say all the time, like, oh my God, it's so expensive to trademark. I'm like, no, you need 225, but
Yeah.
just the thought of people hearing the word trademark, they think it's going to cost them an arm and a leg. And true, if they go to an attorney, they may be paying an arm and a leg,
Right. Right.
but if you do it yourself, and by no means, I am not an attorney. Let me put that out there right now. So I have used an attorney for um, certain trademarks that they had to fight for to get for me.
Hmm.
But then trademarks that I view as simple trademarks, like I did it myself, and I had no problem telling somebody, well, this is what I did. This is what
Yeah.
I look for. This is what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of times, people talk about branding, and a lot of times people talk about, oh, I got to have a logo. And I'm like, no, why are you going to have a logo? You don't even know what your brand voice is. And people's like, what is that? You know, and a lot of times when
That's good.
people a lot of times when entrepreneurs talk about branding, they talk about the creative aspect of branding. We got to get my logo and my colors and all of that stuff. And it doesn't start there. It starts at
Hmm.
the core. If you don't know your brand personality and your brand voice, if you don't know your mission and vision, if you don't know your brand purpose, why you're actually doing it, how are you able to create these colors and stuff to kind of mesh with your audience if you don't know who they are? You know,
Absolutely.
so people are like, what? So I teach that stuff. I teach that so people will know what the big companies are doing. I
I
worked in
was
corporate America.
I was gonna ask you what your website was because I typed it in Google and it wasn't popping up.
Which one?
The Color Me brand.
Oh, I just redid that site. It's
Oh,
colormebrand.com.
colormebrand.com. Okay, everybody, we're gonna go over there real quick.
Oh my
I guess
God.
this is a special show for
I just redid that
Peachy.
website like 2 days ago.
Oh
Um,
my God, I'm so glad you did that. She's like, I am too.
well, no, it was nice before, but I just added a whole
Ooh.
bunch of stuff. So
Walk us
yeah.
through, Peachy.
Huh?
Walk us through.
Okay, so this is Color Me Brand, and if you scroll down, it tells you all the things that we're doing. It's a brand and business collective. But
Okay.
if you go to the very top, it will take you to all the different things. So learning, it tells you about the things that we have going on, all the workshops that are coming up.
Okay.
So
Oh,
all of
there's
these are
more.
workshops through August 2025, I believe.
Yep. Oh wait. Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. Okay, and so um, the
Membership.
membership, that's Prism.
Okay.
I won't take you there because you have to. Okay, yeah. Okay. So Prism is the membership. The monthly membership is three different levels:
Okay.
tier one, tier two, and tier three.
Okay.
Um, you
Did you want
know,
me to click on it?
you can click on it, but no, keep going, scroll down. It tells you
Okay.
about it if you scroll down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the three tiers. And then it talks about what you get in each tier. So, of course, the Spark Starter is our lowest tier, and it's for foundational for beginners. And it's mostly videos, but we do have a monthly call. The Blaze Builder is where most people are because that's when they are kind of elevating their brand to the next level. And of course,
Hmm.
the Igniter is for people who, are already doing a whole bunch of stuff, but
Hmm.
that's when we get into brand architecture and brand strategy and all those things. So that's kind of far, far out there. So, but
Y'all, you see these prices right here? $37. You know that's like two meals at the fast food
that's
place.
true.
Stop playing.
That's true.
Stop
That's
playing.
true. That's true.
And then
And
you have
so,
a podcast, I see.
yes, the Talk Like a Brand podcast, my baby. Um, you can listen
Hey.
on all the apps, or you can actually scroll down, and all the episodes are there as well. Keep going.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you can listen right on the site.
We're on episode she on episode 60.
Yep,
All right. And then we have
that's the blog that comes out every single week, Dear Business. And that's about business and branding. So if you are on our mailing list on Tuesdays, you get a brand bits. I give out kind of like business and branding tips every Tuesday. On Wednesdays, you get an email with the new blog, and on Thursdays, you get an email about the podcast. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is kind of how I go about for my mailing list.
okay.
Yeah. And so that's about create brand and grow. Um just a little bit, it talks about our vision and all that stuff, the mission, the values, all of that's there for everybody to read.
I love that picture of you, by the way.
Thank you.
And then community.
Yeah, that takes you to our Facebook group where you can join our Facebook group. And
I just joined.
the shop, it has three freebies, but it's three freebies on there, but by the end of the month, it's going to be full of stuff, including our t-shirts that we created for people, entrepreneurs. So
Isn't that coming up? The shop. Maybe the shop's not set up.
no, it's not yet.
Okay, okay. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. You just put me all out there today.
I sure am.
Oh gosh, that is so funny. That is so funny. So yeah, so I just I encourage everybody to really think about the things that trigger you.
Mm.
And if you have those triggers, that means it's something that you really need to explore to find out why you have those triggers and
Mm.
how you can work through those triggers to not have those triggers anymore. You know, everybody doesn't need therapy. I
Mm-mm.
did. I had years and years and years of trauma I had to work through. Um, and although I was able to help people and help other entrepreneurs and excel in my field, you know, I looked the part, but inside I was a mess,
Mm.
totally. Um, and you just don't want to be in that space because even when you think you're happy, you're not really at your happiest, and you don't even realize it. I think people think that when they talk about functioning alcoholics and functioning drug addicts or whatever, you can be a functioning entrepreneur or you can be a functioning person every single day, and you're just functioning. You're not really living your life to the fullest because you have so much stuff inside that you need to let go of.
Mm.
And so yeah.
I love that. Thank you, Peachy. So, we are getting to the end portion of the podcast, and that was such a great way to segue. If you wanted to add something else that you want to leave people with, because that was so beautiful. Like we do show up to work, we do show up to these meetings, looking like we got it together, but yet on the inside, um, we never know what people are really going through, what they're experiencing.
Right. So what I would say is, um show up for you. um and one of the things that I have lived by as a child, be kind. Um, and I used to say it costs nothing to be kind, but sometimes being kind can cost you everything. I had
Mm.
to realize that as well in therapy. I had to
Ooh.
realize that sometimes being kind can cost you everything. Um, and that was a hard pill for me to swallow as well. But it is what it is. But still, don't let other people take away your kindness, because when other people take away your kindness, then you're allowing them to steal your joy. And
Mm.
sometimes your joy is all you have when
Mm.
things look bleak. So, show up for you in all forms, show up for you. And then I want to say, believe in yourself. Always bet on you. Always bet on you. Because in this entrepreneurial journey, your journey is yours and yours alone. It
Mm.
doesn't matter if somebody else is in your field and it seems like they're doing better. They could be so toe up inside and you don't even know. And because again, we live in a microwave society. We live in this social media society where everything looks perfect and it can really be a crock of crap in the background. You know what I mean? So
Yes,
bet
okay.
on you and focus on you. Don't compare yourself to anybody else's journey. Don't compare yourself to anybody else because you don't know what they got going on. Your
Mm.
journey was designed for you. So embrace it and love it. Love yourself.
Thank you for those words. She said, kindness can cost you. Whew, girl. Well, for those of you guys, we are not therapists. We are not doctors.
At
We're
all.
just sharing things. Yeah, we're sharing, so sharing, thing. We're sharing, experiencing, sharing with you our experiences of what life looked like for us, what that journey looked like, and hoping that you will glean something from this conversation that will help propel you to the next step. And speaking of next step, this next section is a round robin. We're going to ask Peachy a few personal questions and yeah, just get to know Peachy a little bit better. And don't forget to go get, if you have college students, go get the boxes. The
Thank you.
HBCU Fun Box. What's the other box?
The campus connection
The
and the
Campus
Princeton Fun
Connection. What Peachy said. All right, Peachy. First question for you, darling, is you said 21. Who is the most influential person in your life and how did they impact you?
The most influential person in my life is God. Um, and I'm impacted every day. I think when all else failed and all else fails, like my faith is the one thing that I hold on to no matter what.
Feel that. So many levels. Thank you, Peachy. 53. If you could change one thing about your industry, what would it be?
Ooh, wow. Um, ooh, okay. What I'm seeing now, especially when it comes to copywriting and things, copywriters are suffering because of AI.
Mm.
So I would change the way things are being shifted and make it more conducive for copywriters to, because I think too many people, not to say that AI is not amazing, because it is when used correctly, but it's not the end all be all.
Yeah,
And they're trying to make it be the end all be all. You still need copywriters who can add life to your work. AI can't think for you, it can just spit out information.
right,
And so a lot of people are losing their jobs in writing. And I wish that the industry would kind of even out the playing field so that AI can still be used, but don't make people lose their jobs.
right. So how would you fix that?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, and I don't even know what that looks like right now, but I have been thinking about that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, because, you know, based off of what you said about how Color Me brand was starting, right?
Hmm.
I love the fact that you said that you all can be in the same industry, be writers as well, or computer analyst or financial analyst, but nobody's going to process those numbers like you do. Nobody's going to write that book like you do. And
Right.
really leaning into the gift because, I mean, the computer's just pulling data. We pulling data out of the ether. The computer needs the data to be inputted into it.
Exactly. Exactly. And when you're crafting these stories, when you're crafting these brand stories, AI can't put the feeling in it that you can. It can give you a shell to work with, but in
Yeah.
terms of really crafting these stories and these books that make you just want to sit and continuously turn the page and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or articles that really have depth and make you say, wow, I didn't know this about that person. A person is behind that. A
Yeah.
person with a heart is behind that, not a machine.
Like you said, bet on yourself.
Yep.
All right. Last question is, what star sign are you?
I am a proud Sagittarius, December baby.
Oh, thank you for sharing that with us. Are there any specific things for that Sagittariuses are known for? I know one, but I ain't saying it out loud though.
Sagittarians are known for their intellect.
Ah,
Sagittarians love gathering information and data. We are truth seekers
I
and
love
seekers
that.
of knowledge.
Well, darling, thank you for that. Obviously, you show that you are a real Sagittarius based off of that description. So please let the people know what you're working on right now, where they can find you. I know we went through your website and everything, but it don't hurt to tell them again.
Okay, well, you can find me at therightmix.com or colormebrand.com. If you're looking for college boxes for your kids, you can go to freshmanfunbox.com or brandffb.com if you want to know all the things we're doing. The books that we wrote are on there, the blog, Confessions of a College Mom. You can have access to all that stuff on.
Oh, that sounds juicy.
um, so if you want to follow us on social, you can go to the Right Mix or Color My Brands or Freshman Fun Box and all of the other boxes. They all have their own handles of the same name. Um, and I think that's about it.
No,
I
I asked you what you were working on, and then if I'm not mistaken, you said that you wrote a couple of books. Is that right?
yeah, I don't want to talk about those today.
You don't want to talk about that today.
I have some things. I have some things that are coming up. Um, that are going to be, I believe, very beneficial for entrepreneurs. I have a series of courses. I have some courses, but I have um, a series of courses, new courses that are coming out for entrepreneurs, as well as some other things that I don't want to speak on right now. But a lot of good stuff is coming by the end of the year. So I'm very, very happy. I get the smile. I'm very, very happy on the stuff that's getting ready to drop by the end of the year. So there's a lot of good stuff going on in the background. A lot of good stuff.
Sorry, Peachy, I was trying to pause it because the helicopter was going over. I don't know if you could hear it.
We can hear it a little bit. It's on now.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us on Friend and Friends podcast, Peachy. It was a pleasure to have you. I learned so much about you today.
Well, thank you so much for
And
having me.
oh my
Thank you.
gosh, this was a great conversation. And for those of you entrepreneurs that are out there in your beginning stages, your middle stages, Peachy has her tier,
Prism.
yeah, her tier prism for you to tap into that resource because $37 a month. Come on now, you know already that you already been to the store or Starbucks today twice. That
Right.
equals one of her memberships. So stop playing. You
Yeah.
know we're out here supporting corporate businesses. But we want to come out and support small businesses that are actually doing some stuff in the community. And so, yeah, please go and support.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And you all have an amazing day. Please continue to support Fran. She's doing some amazing things as well. And I just thank God that He brought us together. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
All right, you're welcome. Peachy, hold on just a second. All right, y'all. Later.